The Supreme Court is divided over tensions rising on exposing the U.S. death penalty and lethal injection case. Recently, the arguments are evaluating the three-drug process used by Oklahoma prison officials. Jackie, this is really a debate over the death penalty and if it's inhumane of killing convicted murderers who are being convicted of murder themselves.
Sure. Well, and of course, I think the thing to remember is that people who are convicted are not actually always guilty. In fact, a gentleman, Anthony Ray Hinton, was just released a few weeks ago, and he was found to be totally not guilty, and yet he was on death row for over 30 years. He did not commit this crime. So mistakes can be made, and therein, I believe, lies the problem with the death penalty, is that we are putting to death innocent people, and it's only with, the Innocence Project and other organizations that we are finding out how many innocent people there truly are.
Yeah, it's a divided line between the states who actually do have the death penalty. It's pretty much half and half. And also right now, what's up for debate is this particular drug, midazolam. They're saying, is it because the drug that was on the market before would actually take the pain and they wouldn't feel it. Mm-hmm. Now they're claiming this particular drug. There was one case of Locke who was constrained and he was twitching, and they saw him actually the pain in his eyes before he died. So again, it becomes, are we doing the same thing that they've done by once you see, and so now it's the debate is whether this drug is actually doing its job and eliminating the pain before the process of death. So again, I think that we really need to look at, do the crime, do the time. I think people should be, if you're a criminal, I think it's much more painful, in my opinion, to sit in jail and think about what you did, and they actually, they say it's more expensive to have an inmate on death row.
Absolutely. In fact, it costs $90,000 per year more to keep someone on death row, and cases without the death penalty cost about $740,000. Cases with the death penalty cost $1.26 million. So to say that there is a financial component is obvious, right? Then you factor in, maybe you could argue, the moral component, or the question of, are we putting to death innocent people? And it does seem like a no-brainer. And people who are in favor of the death penalty, who say, well, if a crime is so heinous, you just want to wipe them off the face of the earth. But there's a fine line as to what crime is so heinous, and how sure can we be that someone actually committed said crime?
Well, like Ted Bundy, for instance, he did before he went to Florida specifically because he knew he would get the electric chair. But he did a slew of murders right before then. So it doesn't necessarily scare the murderer from not killing. It actually, he wanted to just go into a state where he knew he could be taken out because he knew he couldn't stop his demons. So again, this is it's also been proven that it's not necessarily scaring people that, oh, you could face death, don't do the crime, don't commit murder. So again, that's another example. Does this even work?
Sure. Then I know that the Supreme Court is also thinking about, is lethal injection versus things like firing squads, right? And Utah actually just brought back the firing squad, and we think, oh my God, how barbaric. But it's killing people no matter what. Whether you're doing it through lethal injection or a firing squad, you are still taking a life. It's up to our justice system right now to determine whether that's acceptable.
We would like to hear your comments below on how you feel about the death penalty and lethal injection. And please leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.